Firebats, 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 oh my! Alright guys, we're here doing the Spirit of Arachyr build video, and this is basically a Firebats damage slash Spider Queen build video. I don't know what you want to call it. I'll call it Firebats because Firebats is our primary damage dealer, as you can see here. This is an example of how the build works, and Jesus Christ, this actually operates a lot better than I thought it would. I don't know how it's going to stack up against Helltooth. I haven't tried Greater Rifts, I haven't tried pushing higher Greater Rifts yet, but Jesus Christ, the damage output is absolutely insane here, and the damage reduction and the survivability is actually quite good. It can be quite a tanky build, especially with what I've gone with, which we're going to go through in a second. I'm just going to show you guys some quick gameplay so you can see exactly how it works. Doesn't take Einstein to figure out that it's basically just Firebats, Firebats, Firebats. That's why I'm calling this the Firebats build for the Witchdoctor. And you can see shit just... those Firebats just demolish shit. Anything that's close or in proximity to the Witchdoctor absolutely gets just demolished. And we keep our mana up pretty much 100% the whole time. And I'm going to explain exactly how I do that, and that obviously when you keep your mana up 100% of the time, there's certain perks that you can achieve with gear and survivability. But you guys have seen enough, let's head to town. Okay, we're back in town. We're going to go through our skills, our gear, and everything else you need for the build. Now check this out, it's a really cool looking set, isn't it? The armor pieces actually move around. As you can see, the helm, it's like Predator. You ugly son of a bitch. But anyway, all the pieces move around. The helm, if you have the shoulders equipped, which I don't at the moment, the shoulders move. They're all like squiggly spider bits. But anyway, we're going to start with skills so you guys know exactly what I was doing just then. We're going with Firebats, Cloud of Bats, and Cloud of Bats obviously gives us that AoE bats flying around us, and that's fire damage. Insane fire damage. Piranhas, again, every build pretty much has piranhas in it. It really is good for grouping mobs together and taking them out. Paranado as the rune. Spirit Walk, we're going to go with Jaunt. You can go with Severance, depending on whether you'd rather move quicker or rather you want it to last longer. I'd prefer it to last longer. So, Spirit Walk with Jaunt, Soul Harvest with Languished, Big Bad Voodoo with Rain Dance. Now, Rain Dance is very important. This is what we cast and we get back our mana. Alright, so we get mana back. And there's also another way we get mana, which I'll go through shortly. And we're using Hex with Jinx. This basically increases damage against enemies when we cast our Hex. Our passive skills, we're using Grave Injustice, as always, regenerating life and mana. Confidence Ritual for extra damage for enemies that are around us. Pierce the Veil, 20% extra damage, but increases our mana cost by 30%. Because we're using Big Bad Voodoo, our mana regeneration is so insane that this doesn't affect us. It doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't matter. The extra mana we use doesn't affect us. It's definitely covered by Big Bad Voodoo, and we enjoyed the extra damage for free, motherfuckers. And Spirit Vessel, obviously, for survivability in case we die, we come back with 50% of our maximum life. That pretty much covers all of our skills. If you guys have any questions about skills, let me know. Big Bad Voodoo, there's an item that I use in my Canized Cube, which is absolutely 100% necessary for this build. We'll go through that in a second. Let's go into armor. So we're using the Arachyr's Visage. Make sure we have intelligence, critical hit chance, and definitely Firebats damage by 15%. Obviously, Firebats is our main primary damage dealer. Make sure you get the 15% extra damage for your Firebats. We're using Mantle of Channeling. Make sure that we have intelligence, vitality. Definitely cooldown reduction by 8%. I love my cooldown reduction. And going back to the helm, that's why I've got my diamond helm, which reduces cooldowns of all skills by 12.5%. You can, if you're pushing greater rifts, you probably could put a vitality gem in there. if you're having survivability issues, but I just love cooldown reduction. I love casting shit and love casting shit often. We're using Traveler's Pledge, again with the Compass Rose, enjoying the 2-set bonus. So number 1 is while moving, damage reduction is reduced. Damage taken, is reduced by up to 50%. When you're standing still, damage dealt is increased by 100%. We're going to be standing still a lot, casting our Firebats, so it goes hand in hand. And the gem we're using is Esoteric Alteration for the neck piece. Moving down to chest piece, we want Intelligence, Vitality definitely, and I've left my Fetish Army damage. I do summon some Fetish with the Belt of Transcendence, which is the next item, so that does actually work with the Fetish that are summoned there. Cool. Arachyr's Claws, Intelligence. We want critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and I've left area damage. Area damage is always pretty handy. You can go with Vitality if you have survivability issues, but area damage, nothing wrong with area damage for the Witchdoctor, I tell you. Coils of the First Spider. We want fire damage for this 100% to increase the damage of our Firebats. Then we're getting Intelligence, Vitality, resistance to all elements, and critical hit chance. So nice, very, very, very nice wrists there. Belt of Transcendence, as I mentioned, this is pretty nice. We get Intelligence, Vitality, resistance to all elements, and we also get 10% life. So plenty of life there. I'm on 685k. Not too bad, not too bad. Moving on to rings. Using the Compass Rose, as I mentioned. Obviously, we want critical hit damage, critical hit chance, intelligence, preferably vitality as well. But hey, this belt ain't too bad. This ring ain't too bad. And we're using Bane of the Trapped for this. Alright, boys. Bane of the Trapped is the second gem that we're using. Pants, intelligence, vitality, resistance to elements. Pretty basic stuff. And I'm using the Convention of Elements. This is pretty nice. So it increases our damage of our 4 different elements by 199%, which it cycles through down here, as you can see, fire, and then it goes to physical, then it'll go to poison and cold. So when we're at fire damage and we're casting Firebats, we're doing 200% extra damage almost. It's insane. So pretty nice. And Bane of the Stricken is our third and last gem that we're using. You can sub that out for Taeguk and keep your Taeguk up. If you're doing Greater Rifts, probably Bane of the Stricken is better. It gives you that increased damage against the bosses, the Rift bosses. Alright, the legs, we want Intelligence, Vitality, Armor, and definitely get your 15% Firebats damage for your legs as well. Sorry, for your feet, for your boots. What is wrong with me today? Make sure you get your 15% Firebats damage for your boots, boys. And I'm using an Ancient Staff of Chiroptera. The Staff of Chiroptera isn't necessary. You can equip... I'll show you... So it's up to you. I've gone with this. It's nice. It's ancient. Does a shitload of damage. Obviously, we want to increase Firebats damage by 60%, which is the special stat that you get with the staff. You can see in secondary, Firebats attacks 100% faster and cost 70% less mana. So if you don't have this equipped, you don't have to. You'll definitely need it equipped in Canai's Cube. So as you can see, I've got Star Metal Cookery in Canai's Cube. You can equip that and then choose a nice offhand as well. But I've gone with this. It's an ancient. It was a good roll. I'm happy with it. So I've stuck with it. Up to you guys what you want to do with Canai's. Now that we've got Canai's Cube, might as well go through that. Very, very important. The weapon, you must have the Star Metal Cookery. Basically what it does is it reduces the cooldown of Fetish Army and Big Bad Voodoo by 1 second each time your Fetish deals damage. So our Big Bad Voodoo, which regenerates our mana, is very, very important. And once we cast it, when we have Fetish summoned, which will be summoned through our belt here, so summon a Fetish Sycophant when you hit with a mana spender. So we're going to be spending mana all the time by, Firebats. That's a mana spender. It's spending mana. Not much mana, but it's spending mana. Not now because I've obviously summoned Big Bad Voodoo, but you can see it is a mana spender, alright? And that, when we're hitting enemies with that, we summon those little fetish guys, and when those fetish guys hit enemies, they regenerate they reduce the cooldown of Big Bad Voodoo, so we can have it up pretty much 100% of the time, especially if there's a lot of mobs around, and that definitely helps us have our mana up, and definitely helps us with our other cube item, which is the Aquila Cuirass. So while above 90% mana or primary resource, damage taken is reduced by 50%. So again, it's another 50% damage reduction. All we have to do is keep our mana above 90%, and we do that with Big Bad Voodoo. So do you see how it's all coming together now? So we're casting away inside Big Bad Voodoo. We're regenerating a shitload of mana, impossible to spend it all. And then it's also triggering the Aquila Cuirass, reducing damage taken by 50%. So we've got the Coils of the First Spider, which reduces 30% damage reduction, which increases damage reduction by 30%, and then we've also got the Aquila Cuirass, so pretty tanky. There's heaps of stuff going on. We've also got the shoulders, so while channeling our Firebats, we deal 20% increased damage and we take 25% reduce. So 25, 30, 50, you know, we're talking over 100% reduced damage reduction, so it's pretty awesome. And in jewelry, we're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Obviously, we need the 6 set bonus of the Arachyr set. We're using the shoulders, so we've only got 5 equipped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so make sure you have the Ring of Royal Grandeur. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't sub out Mantle of Channeling for anything else. We definitely need the damage reduction. So let's go into what this set actually does. So if you have 2 sets, if you have 2 items equipped in this set, you summon a permanent Spider Queen who leaves behind webs that deal 400% weapon damage over 5 seconds and slows enemies. So nothing too special there, honestly. There's nothing really that special about the 2 set bonus. You just get a big Spider Queen that dishes out some damage. If you have 4 items equipped, Hex gains the effect of Toad of Hugeness rule. So every time we use Hex, we summon a big toad. After summoning a Toad of Hugeness, you gain 50% damage reduction and heal for 10% of your maximum life per second for 15 seconds. So this toad guy here, we summon him and we get even more damage reduction plus some heals. Fucking awesome stuff. Now, where were we? Now, when you have 6 items equipped, the damage of your creature skills is increased by 1500%. So creature skills like your Corpse Spiders, Plague of Toads, Firebats, which is our primary damage dealer right now, Locust Swarm, Hex, which we use, and Piranhas, which we use as well. So we use 3 of them. I was trialing a few different variations with Locust Swarm, but it just doesn't work. I'm just not happy with it. I think what we have here works best, to be honest with you. What else can we go through? We've been through Canai's Cube. You guys know about Canai's Cube. Just leaves Paragon, really. Nice and simple stuff. We definitely want 25% movement speed cap. Because I'm using 15% Firebats damage in my boots, I couldn't get any movement speed in my boots. So we're using 25% right off the bat here in Paragon. Everything else into intelligence. Don't worry about the other shit. Offense, we definitely want to start with cooldown reduction, then we go into critical hit, damage and critical hit chance, and then attack speed in that order. Defense, we want to start with resist all, then armor, then life, and then life regen last. Utility, we definitely want to start with resource cost reduction, then area damage, and then life on hit. Obviously gold find last, it's not important at all. And I think we've pretty much gone through everything. We've covered it all. Sorry for being a stuttering mess today. You've had some gameplay at the start. Now give it a go, guys. If this build video was helpful, give me a thumbs up. Please make sure you subscribe and make sure you tune back in to Panic 13.